Доброго дня. На черзі речники громад, спільний проект українського кризового менеджменту.
Dear friends, we once again have a meeting on the framework of Dudar project, and today we discuss the possibility that decentralization creates for united communities and how it encourages the institutions providing services to citizens. More than 5,000 settlements and small towns had made use of this opportunity, and now we have more than 400, almost 500 consolidated communities, and they have a lot of challenges and try to cope with this challenge. So today we would like to discuss those opportunities that the consolidated community creates for local communities and the challenges. And I have Mr. Ivan Dudar, chairman of the Kochubei Village Council of the Consolidated Territorial Community. The decentralization reform has been lasting for almost 2 years now, but since today, people just continue to ask questions. What does decentralization mean? And when you are thinking how to answer my question, we would like to make a video presentation of your consolidated community, Kochubei Village Community. Decentralization means the transfer of power to the local level, allowing people to build up their local communities like villages, etc. And here in Kherson Oblast, heads of 4 local councils decided to unite their effort. Kochubeivska Consolidated Community unites 5 different villages, and now the infrastructure is being repaired. The local school and local ambulance premises were repaired, and now representatives from other local communities come here to study their experience. When we just got united, we united 14 different villages and settlements, and thus we had united 14 different problem issues. At the very beginning, people thought that there will be just one central settlement that will be developed, while all the others would remain neglected. But fortunately, we managed to cope with this threat, and now people have hope. People really have hope in positive changes in this village and in the school in particular. We believe that the future depends on us. Thank you very much. Ivana, you are one of the reformers in your local community. How would you comment on the decentralization? What does it mean? Nadio, I would like to say that I am just one of the reformers. I have a good team of those who decided to carry out this reform. My colleagues, heads of the local councils in neighboring villages, we came across the idea to unite our effort, and we started this preparatory work. We had to cover 160 kilometers to get to the oblast center to convince the head of our oblast, proving that our local community, our consolidated local community, should be recognized as a whole, that we had the background in the past when this was just one territory, one local community many years ago. I think that it looks like people got accustomed to rather bad conditions, and whether you felt any risks in uniting all those smaller communities in difficult situations, this deed might multiply the problems. I've been working as a head of local council since 2002, and today I'm very happy that we managed to convince people that we should get united. I think it would be even better to unite earlier, and in result of all that experience that I gained since 2002, I was absolutely sure that we should bring all those different villages together and develop them together. At that very moment, when we were trying to carry out the consolidation of all those villages, we were not frightened with the result. We had such big expectations that, we had the big hope that MPs at the oblast level would support us. By the way, I would like to add that we started our process of consolidation long before the official consolidation offices around Ukraine were established. We started earlier. It was the grassroots idea. And while we met together on March 5th, this was early March, just almost literally the second day when the president announced decentralization. Okay, I understand that you are almost 2 years old now. You've procured repair machinery, you repaired roads, you refurbished schools, a local ambulance. I think that these are not a huge achievements. What are your prospects for the future development of your local community? I'm happy that you asked this question. As of this year, we have finally approved the development strategy for Kochubei consolidated community up to 2022. And it is approved, it was approved in late February this year. Lublin Foundation of Manager Initiatives from Poland, with support of Canadian project, assisted us in development of our local community strategy. Also, Renaissance Foundation allowed us to involve pre-Black Sea Development Institute to drafting of our strategy. They contributed their expertise, and upon a period of reconciliation, we had approved that strategy. So what will be the major areas for your development? They are, on the one hand, traditional, on the other hand, they remain sustainable. In 2016, we started to draft the strategy, and the state provided us with a subvention for local infrastructure development. We raised our own money and implemented our own projects. So when writing this strategy, we had set the objective to preserve the well-being of people, because currently, and to improve demographic situation. So our major objective is to raise the birth rate and to preserve the well-being, the life standard at the proper level. You have 14 different settlements and around 3,000 people. I think that's not much. I think that that's typical for today's Ukraine and for today's Poland. We visited Poland last year, and we observed similar situation in rural areas, because people left their native lands looking for better life. So what will you do to improve life of people? We have carried out the capital overhaul in the primary healthcare aid center. We had invested almost 1.5 million of our own money. We had celebrated that event. People are now very happy because of this Medicare center, and now they are very happy that medical health care let us discuss healthcare area later. Now I would like to mention the educational sector. I think we were among the first local communities in Ukraine, and started to implement educational reform. We had created Kochubei educational district and Kochubei hub school. The hub school is not in Kochubeyevka, the central village of our community. And as of September 16, the academic year was started in this hub school. The state decided to support our hub school. We managed to get computers for our hub school, and the physics study equipment for our hub school. It is now well equipped, And as far as I know, now in Ukraine there are around 20 consolidated communities which are similar to us. You mentioned about healthcare services. We would like to devote more attention to the healthcare issues. You were the first local community to register primary medical and sanitary aid ambulance in your local community. The state had transferred management of primary healthcare services to the local level. Up to 90% of healthcare services should be delivered at local level in line with this idea. What is your attitude towards this? In late December 2015, we had established the healthcare center. We had established the position of a physician in our in our consolidated community. Then we asked the MPs for support, and then there was a press briefing in Verkhovna Rada even, and then we managed to get ownership over the premises and equipment of healthcare service, and then we convinced the authority, central authority, that we have to get to hire and to maintain local healthcare staff. Why do you wish to do this? In 2010, in Kochubei village, we had a small ambulance for 10 beds, and after 2010, the healthcare reform had started, and we were forced to surrender our local healthcare center to the Oblast Center, which immediately had closed our ambulance, and from that moment on, people had to go to the Oblast city. Also, we had to surrender all the equipment, and we were deprived from our equipment. And thus people were deprived from primary medical aid. Yeah, I could say that from 2010 on, we left almost without this primary care. In the old past, some 40 years ago, we had we had our birth help hospital. And now we established the healthcare center, and primarily and primary healthcare center. Mr. Bovkun from Oblast administration, they supported our idea, and fortunately we managed to do this quite rapidly. Also, we are grateful to Velika Alexandrivska hospital had this is neighboring district, and they supported us. They provided help even practically. They offered us the ambulance service for 1 hryvnia per year. Am I right when I understand that that you rejected from your district secondary healthcare service and now use the Velika Alexandrivka district level? This, yes, you're right, and this happened because rejected to support us. When they rejected to provide services to our residents, and we asked the oblast level to interfere and we tried to resolve the conflict first, and we found out that the conflict resolution was not possible, and 3 months later we decided to engage Velika Alexandrivka secondary level hospital, and members of our local council decided not to vote personally on Friday. During weekend, on Saturday and Sunday, they attended the households and asked people what they wanted. So you get a subvention from the state for healthcare services, and 60% of that subvention you pay to the neighboring district, to Velika Alexandrivka Secondary Hospital. At the very beginning, when we decided how the money for healthcare services should be allocated. I think that our approach was absolutely correct, and we can offer this practice to Ukraine. Decision about healthcare services require just 15 minutes for deciding. 60% I would like to describe. At the end of the year, our stomatologist, dentist, technical laboratory staff, we paid for their services to the secondary level, in and gradually by the end of the year, so by the end of the year, the Oblast secondary level hospital dismissed 3 members of medical staff, while the neighboring Velikoalexandrivsky rayon employed them, the same doctors. So actually people, our people were just thrown out from the district hospital, and then the state had issued the rules so we have changed the district. Instead of Velikopilsky, we have transferred our people to Velikoalexandrivsky district. We have another part of video. Let us watch it.
So this is Kochubei Center of First Medical Help that was open since January 2016. They repaired buildings and renewed the equipment, and it helped to introduce electronic healthcare. And I was born in this hospital in 1946, and now this hospital is renewed, and due to unification of territorial communities, we had a lot of changes. There are several sections in this hospital. This hospital is properly staffed and equipped, and the quality now is good, and the subvention was provided to Novo-Alexandrivsk region that was chosen by the community. Our community, we are really grateful. We like the changes. These are roads, lighting. It was done in 1 year, and there are a lot of changes. Strategic plan was adopted, and this unification really helped people to revive their lives. So about healthcare in the community, we saw an electric healthcare card. Today in our country, there is decentralization reform, and we are first pioneers in Khersonsk Oblast. We are one of the first in Ukraine, in top 10 of those who got united. And concerning medical reform, we support reforms. We see that if we won't implement reforms, there won't be positive effect. That's why today deputies of Kochubei council, they took decision and money is allocated. They bought computer equipment, and our Center of Provision of First Medical Aid is connected to electronic healthcare system at the Ministry of Healthcare of Ukraine. This is overall system. It starts, and as of today, we have the data that was input, and not all the cards were made in electronic form. We continue to introduce data to the system, and then people will benefit from this because electronic healthcare is a great breakthrough in the relationship between the doctor and the patient due to this card. In Kochubei, maybe this is not so acute, but in many places there is a problem of queues. So you may see whether there are proper medicines and at what price in the hospital, and whether it is true that you should buy it or you can get it for free. You can compare the prices, and at the same time, you can also see whether ambulance is available, where it is en route, and Viktor Nikolaevich Korolenko, he provided a presentation on electronic healthcare, and I would like to say that they developed one of the first in Khersonsk Oblast, because there is experience of Czech Republic, Montenegro, and the experience was shared, and we continue to implement this program. And there is all Ukrainian problem on reimbursement of medicines, and I spoke a month ago with my colleagues from Kharkiv Oblast, and they said that not everyone wants this reimbursement, and sometimes there is money, sometimes there isn't, and we have village community about 160 kilometers away from the regional center of Kherson. The medicines are provided for several weeks. First, we signed an agreement for reimbursement due to powerful organizations at the level of drugstores, those enterprises that serve in Kherson and Borislav. We should work with the best, those who really can provide. And until 25th, we will hold a session, and money that we got in some delay, because it should have been started April the 1st, and then we get the money we will reimburse. And now, even without this money, people understand and people get these medicines, and we are moving forward in this direction. So healthcare is one of the major steps in order to increase birth rate, and in order to people be more healthy, and people also should be employed. Did you think about employment of people? Yes, working places, and also relaxation also important, because even if you have work, you need some recreational places. It happened so that we opened emergency medical help, and from our own budget, we provided money to the oblast budget, and through the oblast budget, 12 working places were created. This is nurses and drivers who work in an ambulance, not only in ambulance, So we created extra 12 working places, and also we created a center. 3 working places were added. This is the center of the first medical aid. So we understand that this is important, and people, they were paid these salaries, and this money is staying in the community, and these people, they buy products in the stores, and there is money circulation, and the community grows. And today we plan cultural recreational center that would unite educational district. They were created in Ukraine, and we believe this is a good idea. When educators and cultural workers, they are together, and this is a common cause, and at the same time, we work in strategic area. We plan to create communal enterprises to provide renewable energy. We bought equipment, and due to this equipment, and we have a tractor and a grinder to produce pellets, and also this year in schools and in kindergartens we try to provide heating, and we used some, you know that there are many bushes along the roads, and before they just cut it out and burn it, and last year we cut them, and then we created the wooden chips out of it and used them for heating. So we saved saved on gas. Here the money is smaller, and you know that this was spent for heating. And what about the milk cooperative? It is important, and maybe this is the most important program, the project. We plan to create a cooperative. Now we negotiate this issue, whether it will be cooperative or some other form. And the main is that those people who have cows, who have milk and who milk cows, they should be able to sell this milk at a higher price, not 4 hryvnias or 2.7 hryvnias, in order that they could be paid bigger price. And those who collect this milk, they in other oblasts people get some income, but it is not provided to community, and people just give it at a lower price, and that is all, and other people get profit. And in the framework of this project, and the USA is one of the they help us to develop agrarian sector, and we won in the contest, and we work with them. We write a project, and we hope that in this project, the next step, we believe we will win in this contest, and we want to open a point of milk collection, of pasteurizing the milk, and then to produce milk produce, cheese, and other milk products. And after the milk is cooled and pasteurized, it is possible to sell not only in bottles but also we can sell at schools, at the markets, kindergartens, and now we buy milk for our children. We provide the milk for 4 hryvnias, and we buy it in the stores for 20 hryvnias, and the quality of the milk we buy is not really great. So there are many issues, and we have been speaking for a long time. I would like to ask, I read information on your site, and I saw that you have a specialist of the pension fund from Kochubei region, and I know that each community dreamt that in the territory there would be a person who would deal with the calculations of pensions, not to go to regional center because it's difficult for older people. What are the functions of the specialist? Starting 2016, due to understanding of the head of the pension fund of Khersonsk Oblast, Zinaida Timofeyevna Lazarev, she understands this reform, and they are pioneers. And now there is a pilot project, and we want to join, and we negotiated this issue. And a year ago, in 2016, we have the Bereslavsk affiliation, and we also hired a specialist in 2016. He provided information and helped to work with documents. And before, the specialists, they were brought from other settlements, and for them it was difficult to travel around 14 villages, and now it is more beneficial to have such specialists on site. And in 2016, the pension fund paid this person, not the community. This was done by pension fund in 2016, and now there is reform ongoing, and this situation changed, and the specialist, he works with the pension documents, and also he also work with documents and subsidies, social support documents, in order that people not to travel to the regional bodies because it's difficult to go there, and there can be queues, and the roads are not great. So this is the services provided by the center. Yes, I wanted to say this, that this specialist, and there is a program, pilot program, and on pension fund we spoke with him. He works by Skype. You should not travel by Skype, and via Skype they won't go to Borislav. They just can speak with the specialist online, with any specialist of pension fund. If our specialist cannot give an answer to this question, also they can get consultation about their workbooks. They can scan the document, and they should not travel now, because previously, in order to get some documents, they go there and then they go back because they forgot some documents, and they travel 50 kilometers, they go back, and then they go to the organization once again, and this is difficult. And now we have cooperation, we have understanding, and first people had to travel to the regional center, and now people do not go, and the specialists work on site, and people can have consultations, and this specialist will be in the center of service provision. And now we work on this. And when will it happen? We work with ULEAD program, component 2. This is Swedish organization SKL, and we signed an agreement on cooperation concerning administrative services centers. Project manager Klinchenko Olga Ivanivna, and it's really pleasant to work with her. And there are really good experts, and we have plan, and we signed a memorandum. In May there will be completion of the, and they plan to open in the beginning of August, maybe until 24th of August, or maybe in the beginning of September they will open the center. I hope to be present at the opening of the center. Of course, we invite you. What should be done in order to develop further? I know that some legislation is lacking. About legislation, my colleagues said about it. The only thing I wanted to say that they do not adopt the law on land to provide it into property, and a lot of some processes are in delay because people look at us and they say, for example, for a year we have been speaking about this law, and with the adoption of this law, I believe that the third or the one, maybe we will have much more territorial communities that will get united, and this is the main law because we need investors in our region. And there are a lot of laws, but at the level of communication, they are promoted in healthcare. 1 year ago, we tried to get a healthcare license, and now we see that the reform is ongoing, and we support it. And in education, the situation is better, and we see that the support is present, and we hope for even more support. And we can earn money, but we need proper legislation. But the main issue is land. And that will accelerate the unification of the communities. And you said about the obstacles to reform. And I believe that those who create obstacles to reforms, and I believe that those who implement reforms, they become stronger and stronger, and no obstacles can stop you. And thank you very much for this wonderful meeting. And I remind that we have our guest, Ivan Dudar, and he is the chairman of Kochubei Village Council of the United Territorial Community. Till the next time, goodbye.